Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you all having an amazing day today so far. It's your girl Tanisha Shanae, Miss Inspiration. This is another episode of Morning Inspiration with Friends that we are here every Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. Central Time, 8 a.m. Eastern. And as always, hit that like and subscribe button. And this is your first time here because we do something every day. We talk about things such as lifestyle, purpose, God, 100%. Everything is rooted in God. And I welcome you to be a part of this conversation every single day. Also, share this message. This might really help someone in their journey. So, yesterday I had announced that I'm finalizing some things. And so I said to work our way up to that, let's have a conversation about some of the other related tools that could be used in helping us to identify like things like our purpose, or before we even get to your purpose, your strengths, areas that you may go into that you might not necessarily think about, right? And so today I want to talk about one of the tools that I have used. The first time that I ever used it, I was 16 years old back in college, and I was taking freshman seminar, and we had to take a personality assessment. If you have ever taken a personality assessment, drop a one in the chat. So we're talking about what's that? Myers Briggs. That's like the most popular one. There are other free versions out there. If you look down in the description, I actually put the one that I've always used for my students. It's a free version. Of course, anytime you do anything that is a paid version, you're going to get like a better quality or more in depth. But this one is free. So go ahead and you can click that link below and you can check out that particular personality assessment. Now, personality assessments will not give you a full picture of who you are if you're not honest about who you are. If you don't answer those questions honestly, or as honest as possible, you're not going to get like a full picture of who you are. I often also say when we come down to a personality exam, and I should tell my student this all the time, your personality type can shift as life goes on. So I always gave the example, if a young lady was essayed, and at one time she was like super extrovert out there, she's like partying, she's meeting new people, no problem. And then she might experience something like essay. She might turn into an introvert, right? Those things happen quite often. So I will always put those kind of like little disclaimers out there because people will look at this like as a one size fit all. It's going to tell me who I am. So the person that I was at 16, when I did it again, when I started teaching, and I started to teach the class that had us do the personality assessment, and when I was 26. So from 16 to 26 in 10 years, um, my personality type probably did not shift, but I definitely will say my personality did shift slightly when I started my walk with God. And so, yeah. So the reason why I'm introducing this is because, again, I want to give people resources that they can utilize to help in identifying things like their strengths, things that they're really good into. I mean, things that they're really good at, and give them a mirror, right, that they can reflect on, that other people might be telling them and they might not be ready to accept it. So this is definitely one of those self-discovery tools that is going to help you to identify those hidden strengths, right? What is the one thing that is hidden that you're not seeing? Now other people might see it, but it's going to take some time. And I often talk about my own personal journey. So when I graduated from high school, I wanted to be a publicist. Reason why, because when I was working in the music industry, the person that I gravitated towards, who became my mentor, who was now like my sister, she was a publicist, and I wanted to be just like her. So I went into communications, just like my mentor did. Right, that's the person that I idolized at that time. And when I went to college and we had to do that personality assessment, mine actually came up that I should go into things like social services or education. Now, social services, I really wasn't interested in because in New York, I was always thinking about the money from that aspect. In New York, back then, the early 2000s, they were definitely paying way less than what we were being told. Because when you're in college, they used to tell us like, when you graduate, you should make no less than, and they gave us a number. My number was no less than 30. And I remember back then seeing anything with social services was always less than 30,000 a year. So that was not interesting to me. But the education part, I never wanted to be an educator. I'm gonna be 100% honest with y'all. I have been told since I was a child that I was going to be a teacher. Like, you're a teacher. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be a teacher. I didn't want to deal with what my teachers dealt with. Like, kudos, hats off to teachers like Miss Taylor, Miss Brown. They dealt with a lot. Miss Frazier, y'all dealt with a lot out there. And I didn't want to deal with that. Now, what I didn't realize and I never took into consideration was teaching adults. That never crossed my mind. It was not something that made sense to me. So I was not even ready to accept that. So that tool, that personality assessment that I took in college, had already identified one of my strengths that I was not ready to face it, right? So sometimes you are given the answer to your problem, but until you shift your mindset, you're not going to be able to see it as a solution. You're going to still look at it as, this is just, why would they say that about me? You don't see it in yourself yet. Other people see it. Even the assessment sees it, but it might take you some time. Like I said, I did not start teaching until 2010. 2010 was the first time that I ever taught. And I took that assessment in 2001. Okay. So we're talking about 9 years of experience, great life experience, right? I'm not gonna downplay my experiences, but I often think about what if I would have tapped into that a little bit sooner versus going the direction that I don't regret the path that I've gone on, but I will say I do think about that quite often. And so it gave me all that the personality assessment did in college was that it planted the seed of self-awareness, right? This was not something that was new to me. It was something that I heard before. And so I knew, right? I knew that I could do it. And I knew that other people saw it. I just was not ready to receive it, right? So with the personality assessment and any tool for self-discovery is going to give you just another level of self-awareness. What you do with that information is going to come down to you as an individual. So if you take that personality assessment and you get that report with your personality type, good morning, Bola. When you get that report with your personality type, while you are reading it, the one thing I will ask you is don't read it with the mindset of, no, like read it, take it in, because this is going to give you some insight as to the things that you are not seeing within yourself. It's going to kind of give you a blueprint to those hidden corners of your life that you don't realize yet. And I'm telling you, I often think about that. 2001. What if I would have listened to my professor at that time and would have considered changing my career path earlier versus going through everything that I went through? Again, I don't take away from my experiences. I love everything that I've experienced, the good and the bad, because it made me who I am. But when I started to teach, so when I started to teach career development, this is when I did the personality assessment again. And I did it because I have to see what the reports are going to say so that I can help my students to navigate that. And that was in 2011. So it was a 10-year gap between the time that I took this. And here it was 10 years later, really 9 years later, and I am in the profession that the first personality assessment told me that I would be in. Absolutely did not expect this. Absolutely was never in the plan, was never in the works, but that became the reality. So you don't realize that some of these tools are trying to help you, right? So often people are like, oh, I don't need those self-discovery tools. Sometimes it helps you to paint a picture that you might be struggling to actually face. Right. So many times we think we know ourselves. I know myself. I know who I am. Yeah, you know things about you. right? But you haven't learned about those things that you are not facing yet. And that's why I'm having this conversation. So today we're talking about personality assessment. And then the second one we're going to talk about tomorrow, I am going to break down another one that I have used. Again, these are all just to help you to just create this like a vision of who you are, an understanding of who you are. And so when I took that personality assessment again, because I say about maybe 5 to 10 years you should do it just to see. But I knew that in 2018 when I was working at a women's only workforce program, so they had to do it. That was a part of the assignments that they did. So of course I did it with my students, because we had access to a paid version. The organization paid for a version, and I was really interested to see what that version looked like, the questions and things of that nature. So it wasn't anything like the free version. Again, you go down to my description, you're going to see the free version of the personality assessment if you're interested, if you don't know your personality type. But when I did it in 2018, I shifted. And so if you don't know, I'm sorry, I did not even go over what the personality types is going to look like. But when you do get to the personality assessment, at the end, you're going to get 4 letters. The first letter is going to either be E or I for you are an extrovert or you are an introvert. And then the other 3 letters are going to tell you. Now, I will say one of my letters shifted in 2018. And I believe because I used to be an INTJ. Yeah, INTJ. Because I used to be, I truly, especially before I had a relationship with God, oh, I was overthinking everything. And I shifted to INFJ, right? So I went from thinking my feelings, right? Thinking my thoughts and just shifting towards feeling, right? Getting that understanding what that gut feeling means. What does my body mean when something is happening, when someone is speaking to me. And so that was the only thing that shifted. The other 3 letters remained the same. But that one letter shifted because of the relationship that I had built with God. And it got really strong in 2014. And then by the time I took the assessment in 2018, even when I saw the results, I said, yeah, that makes sense because I'm no longer, really striving for, thinking and overthinking. I'm really trying to just follow what my body is telling me, because that is the way that God speaks to me. He'll have the Holy Spirit like get you that gut punch, and you're like, oh wait, is that's the strong no, right? So I started to do things of that nature, and it worked out for me. And so when you do yours, just read it. You could do a lot more deeper research. There are researchers out there that have researched every personality type in depth. So you can always find information about this, right? This is not a new thing, but I'm helping you to get some insight, especially if you are confused, if you don't know who you are, if you don't know your strengths, right? So if you struggle with answering questions like, what is a strength that you have? What is a weakness that you have? That is a perfect reason to go ahead and do a personality assessment. If you struggle with identifying what it is that you want to do, personality assessment could definitely be a great tool for you to utilize. So I really just want us to have access to this information, because this is great information for us to have. And I want you to also just realize, like, don't go into tool overload, right? Don't go into you want to try every single tool, and you're not taking your time, right? So I always say make sure that you give each assessment, each tool the opportunity to give you insight. Give yourself some time to process this. Give yourself some time to read it and identify where other people have identified those skills and those traits within you, because again, sometimes we don't see it. So you might be reading this and you might be like, this ain't me at all, like that's not me. And so that's what I really want you to do. And so when each assessment is going to give you a different layer of insight. So the one that we're going to go over tomorrow is going to give you a different level of insight, right? And so this is the reason why we start to experiment and we start to explore these different tools, because again, it's going to give you even more insight. And I'm telling you, the one that I'm going to discuss yesterday, I mean, going to discuss tomorrow, is going to really help you to understand even further. And then when we combine all of that, right? So again, this is not taking God out of anything, but when we combine this, now you have a lot more understanding of yourself. Now, when you go into prayer with God, you can talk to God about the areas that you want to strengthen, or the areas that are being told to you, that is being seen in you, and you're trying to get to that level. Right. So now that's when you're going to go into prayer. You can journal about this. You can go talk to your therapist about this. You can talk to your life coach about this. And these can become additional tools in your journey. So again, don't feel as though that, oh, she's trying to shift away from God. No, 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 no. Take this information and we're going to go back to God. We're going to go back to those other support systems that's going to help you to understand this. And that's something that I do, right? As a coach, I am always looking to help people to understand who they are and where they are heading towards, because again, I know exactly what that feels like. I wish that I had a Tanisha Shanae in my life when I was going through all of this, because Tanisha understands what that feels like. So I do have an opportunity for you to get on a call with me. If you go to the link in my bio, go to the link in the description about to connect with me. There's a free discovery call. What I want you to do is this is where you're going to do your homework first. You're going to do the personality assessment, right? And when you book that call, I want you to book that call, and I want you to have that print out. Or you don't have to print it out. You can save they're going to give you a profile of who you are. I want you to save all of that and then book the call, so that when you get on that call with me, you are able to look at, and we're able to now get a better idea of who you are. Again, this is just one of the many tools that you can utilize to help you to identify your gifts, your strengths, your talents, and the skills that are already within you. So I want to help you with that. So like I said, this is a free discovery call. Good morning, freelancer. This is a free discovery call, and I'm inviting you to do that. You can definitely click on that link in my bio, in my description, and you can join me. Do not get discouraged by the last question, because we do have to fill out a questionnaire. Just get on my calendar, right? Just say yes, say no, say whatever the answer is. Just get on my calendar, because again, if you don't know who you are, this is going to be even more difficult for you to continue to move forward, right? And I want to help as many people to get unstuck. So I'm trying to give you as much tools and resources that's going to give you to the next level, the whatever level that is for you, right? And I want that success for you. So I am your girl, Tanisha Shanae. If you want to connect with me, learn about my books, about my community, Inspirational Trailblazers, it is a community, and literally you get the first 7 days free. So you want to do a trial, you want to come pop in, you want to see what kind of workshops I've done for my group. We're now into the third quarter. We're about to do our third quarter review. That's going to be a huge thing. Good morning, Jen. How are you, darling? That's going to be another huge thing that we have coming up. So if you are interested in joining Inspirational Trailblazers, it is currently $20 a month. But like I said, you do get the first 7 days free. So we have the master classes coming up. We have more webinars coming up, and my Trailblazers will get access to those 100% free as a part of their membership. And then they also get one-on-one group coaching offers. So whatever the general population would pay, my Trailblazers do not pay that price. They always pay less. So it does have a lot of advantages to join. And I'm just excited to continue to pour into that. But like I said, if you don't know about my books, you don't have Transition to a Healthier You don't have Dear Single in Love, you don't have any of my other courses, you don't know about my blog, then definitely go to my link tree. That link is down below in my link in my description. And like I said, today we spoke about one of the different tools, right? We got two more. One I created, and I'm excited about that. But the tool that we're going to talk about tomorrow is another amazing one that's going to help you to discover your strengths. That's going to help you to discover your different talents and your gifts that you might not see for yourself, right? The whole point of this is to help you to unlock the you have never met, right? That is my goal. My goal is to help as many people to unlock the you that you have never met. That's it. That's it. I'm not promising nothing else. I'm just going to help you to identify these different things. So if you just joined, go back to the beginning. Go back to the beginning. This video had a lot of nuggets, a lot of gems that I think is going to be beneficial. If you are brand new, hit that subscribe button. I see if some people are still here. So hit that subscribe button and welcome. And we're here every Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Eastern. So do not miss it. If you are on YouTube, right? YouTube has all of the videos. Facebook will start to delete them after 30 days. So if you ever want to come back and tap into one of these videos, go over to my YouTube channel. Tanisha Shanae is how you can find me, and you will find my channel. And there's a whole playlist for morning inspiration with friends. We've been going strong for like 3 months now, and I'm so proud of myself for showing up every single day, whether it's 0 people or 5 people. I think the most that we had at one time was like 13 people. And you know what? We're going to just continue to show up and show out. So I love you guys. Do amazing things today. Today's July 1st. We got to crash on July 1st goals. Like I said, if you join Inspirational Trailblazers, we're going to be diving into our 3rd quarter review. So we're going to be looking at our goals and looking at the steps that we need to take to get towards those goals for the next 3 months. Because look, we're getting closer to the end of the year. So we're not leaving 2025 the way that we came in. Okay? We're not leaving. Thank you, Jen. We're not leaving 2025 the same way. Like we said yesterday, some of you out here, go watch yesterday's message. Yesterday's message was bomb. I got it. It was amazing. And we were talking about creating your one-hit wonder, right? Creating that one thing that you know God is telling you to produce, whether it's a song, it's a book, it's a journal, it's a something, right? And that one hit wonder is going to be your goal, right? It's going to be the ticket to get you into those doors and opportunities many years to come. So some of you haven't even opened up those eyes yet. You haven't even tapped into that. So you can't even get to the one hit wonder. So it's time for you to do this personality assessment, take it in. Taking all this uncomfortable information that is going to come at you, because I'm guaranteeing you something in that report is going to come out and you're going to resist it. And I usually say, if you resist it, that usually might be the one thing that God really needs for you to use. And I say that as a person who sat there, 2001, College in New Rochelle, freshman seminar, personality assessment. I'm told I should be in an education program. And I'm looking at that professor like, absolutely not. And what do I end up doing in 2010? I became a teacher. I became a college professor. Started my whole career. Never left education in any capacity. I just moved between colleges, trade schools, workforce programs, adult education, online, in person. I've done it in so many components and so many aspects. So sometimes it's already there. It's already within you. You're fighting it. You're fighting it the same way I fought it. And this is why I encourage people. The thing that scares you is the thing that you got to go after. That's gonna be your ticket. That's gonna be your ticket. I would have did no good to myself if I would have, continued working at the nonprofit that I was working at. I would have been no good. I would not have been able to do out here to do the things that God needs for me to do and impact the lives that I need to if I would have stayed where I used to be prior to 2010. Right? 2010 was a year that I had to pivot, and I had to pivot fast because I was going broke fast too. But I don't want that for you, right? I don't want that. This is the reason why we're having these conversations. So come back tomorrow, 7 a.m. and learn about the other tool, the other resource, the other self-discovery resource that's going to help you to unlock you that you have never met before. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm your girl, Tanisha Shade, Miss Inspiration.